Once upon a time, in a vast kingdom of golden palaces and marble statues, there lived a king named Alaric. He was tall, strong, and draped in silks embroidered with threads of gold. Upon his head rested a magnificent crown, studded with emeralds, sapphires, and a diamond so bright that it caught the sun like fire. The people bowed as he passed. They admired his crown, his robes, his throne, and that was exactly how Alaric wanted it. For Alaric did not care for the hearts of his people. He cared only for their praise. Every morning he sat upon his jeweled throne and asked his courtiers, "Tell me, who is the greatest king that has ever lived?" And they, fearing his anger, always answered, "You, your majesty. You are the wisest, the strongest, the most glorious ruler of all time." Hearing this, King Alaric would smile, stroking his crown, and believe that his greatness came not from deeds or justice, but from the shining weight upon his head. One winter morning, as the market bustled with merchants and townsfolk, an old beggar appeared at the palace gates. His clothes were torn, his hands trembling with cold, and his eyes dim with hunger. He called out, "Mercy, O king! A crust of bread, a drop of water. Show kindness to your servant." But when the guards relayed the message to Alaric, the king only scoffed. "Does my crown shine less if a beggar goes hungry? Send him away. My glory is not measured by crumbs of bread, but by jewels and gold." The beggar bowed his head sadly and shuffled into the snow. What no one knew was that this beggar was no ordinary man. He was a wandering sage who had tested kings and queens across many lands. And in Alaric he saw a heart heavy with pride, yet hollow of love. That very night, as King Alaric slept, a strange dream came to him. He stood in his great hall, but his throne was gone, the walls bare, the chandeliers dim. He reached for his crown, yet his head was light. The crown had vanished. Startled, he woke and grasped at his brow. The dream was no dream. His crown was gone. The palace was thrown into chaos. Guards searched high and low, but the crown was nowhere to be found. Without it, Alaric felt naked, powerless. "How shall the people know I am king if I wear no crown?" he cried. And though his robes still shone, though his throne was still gold, Alaric walked the halls as if stripped bare. Days passed, and word spread quickly. The king's crown was missing. At first, the people whispered in secret corners, "What is a king without his crown?" But soon their whispers grew bold. "He does not feed the hungry. He does not visit the sick. He does not care for us. Perhaps the crown fled from him, for he does not deserve it." For the first time, Alaric heard not praise but doubt. His heart burned with shame and anger. Determined to find his crown, Alaric put on plain clothes and slipped into the city. Unseen, the streets were alive with chatter. Bakers sold warm loaves, children played in the dust, merchants haggled loudly, yet everywhere he walked, he heard complaints. "Our king sits on jewels, yet my child goes to bed hungry. He builds statues of himself, but no schools for the poor. He is a king of gold, not a king of hearts." Each word struck him like a blow, and then, among the crowd, he saw the old beggar again. The same one he had turned away, Alaric approached him. "Old man," he said, "have you seen a crown of gold and jewels?" "It belongs to me." The beggar's eyes twinkled. "I have seen such a crown, but tell me, Majesty, what good is a crown upon a head empty of kindness?" Alaric stiffened. "I am king. My crown proves it!" But the beggar only smiled sadly. "No, Alaric. A crown does not make a king. Deeds do. A crown upon a selfish head is an empty crown." The beggar challenged him. "Go, king, into your own kingdom. Walk without title, without crown. Learn what it means to serve, not to be served. When you understand, your crown will return." At first, Alaric laughed. But that night, as he lay restless, the beggar's words echoed louder than any courtier's praise. And so, the next day, he obeyed. He visited the fields, where farmers bent their backs beneath the sun. He worked beside them, blistering his hands. He shared their bread at dusk, coarse and plain. He entered the villages, where sick children cried in dim huts. He fetched water, cleaned wounds, and listened to mother's sorrows. He traveled to the mountains, where shepherds guarded flocks against wolves. He kept watch through cold nights, learning patience and courage. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Everywhere he went, Alaric gave not commands, but help. Slowly, the people began to notice the strange, humble traveler with weary hands but kind eyes. Little by little, their words changed. He helps us. He listens. He is no king, but he has the heart of one. And Alaric, for the first time, felt joy deeper than jewels, joy born of kindness. One spring morning, Alaric returned to the forest where he had met the beggar. There, upon a mossy stone, rested his crown, gleaming brighter than before. The beggar appeared once more and said, "Alaric, you have learned what no throne or jewel can teach. Your crown was never lost. It was waiting for you to earn it. Not with pride, but with humility. Not with commands, but with kindness." With trembling hands, Alaric placed the crown upon his head. It felt heavy still, but now its weight was not empty. It was filled with the responsibility of love. When Alaric returned to the palace, the people no longer whispered doubts. They cheered, for they had seen with their own eyes the change in their king. He opened the royal granaries and fed the poor. He built schools for children and homes for the sick. He lowered the taxes and walked among the people not as a distant ruler, but as a servant king. No longer did he ask his courtiers, "Who is the greatest king?" Instead, he asked, "What more can I do for my people?" And the people answered not with fear, but with love. "You, Alaric, are our true king, not because of your crown, but because of your heart." The lesson of the empty crown years later, when Alaric grew old and gray, he told his grandchildren the story of the crown he once lost, and he would always end with the same words. A crown upon the head means nothing if the heart beneath it is empty. But a crown upon a kind heart, that is a crown that will never be taken away. Moral: titles and crowns may command respect, but only humility and kindness win love. True greatness is not in the jewels you wear, but in the compassion you give.